Before I go into what I'm going to share, we're just going to take a couple of minutes to once again center ourselves. So won't you join me in just a short meditation? Come on in. Hello. And so, I invite you to, during these couple of minutes, to notice what awakens joy in you. The word was awaken, yeah? So let's just take a moment, turning within, eyes open or eyes closed. Just noticing what's awakening in you. Where is that joy? Feel it, notice it, be with it in these moments in silence. Feeling that feeling of awake. Feeling that feeling of the inner joy that you're tapping into in this moment. Join me in receiving a full breath here, inhaling and exhaling. We'll just bring this time in meditation to a close, allowing yourself to maybe wiggle your fingers, move your head, move your shoulders, just something that signals your body that we're joining back into this space to receive the information that I'm sharing today. I just know that what brings you joy falls on fertile hearts, open minds, and I let it be. Amen. Hi, everybody. Hi. So a couple things. I like to laugh, so sometimes I start with a joke. So today, I'm going to start with a joke. I heard this story about a couple that kept forgetting things. They were concerned, so they went to the doctor, and the doctor told them to start writing everything down. They went home, and the wife said to her husband, I'd really like some ice cream. And the husband said, no worries, honey, I'll get it for you. And the wife said, well, wait a minute. Remember the doctor said to write everything down. You better write that down. And the husband said, I'll be okay, I'm just going to the kitchen. A while later, the husband comes back with a plate of bacon and eggs. The wife shook her head and said, "See, I knew you should have written that down. You forgot my toast." Okay. Today I'd like to talk to you about what brings you joy. What brings you joy? Recently I've noticed an emphasis on, and not got thoughts, but what brings you joy. Recently I've noticed an emphasis on the importance of mental, physical, and emotional health. It's probably always been there, but it's really been in my awareness lately, like right in my face. And this got me thinking, what brings me joy? What supports my mental, physical, and emotional well-being? There are many things I thought brought me joy. But as I was with this question for a while, I began to realize beyond my relationships with my husband, with my family, with my friends, what truly brings me joy. I discovered that I find joy in everyday moments. I find peace in chaos, believe it or not. There's a unique joy in finding moments of peace in the chaos of everyday life. Asking for guidance from the Holy Spirit. I find joy in seeking guidance from the Holy Spirit, knowing that I'm never alone. Noticing what thought system I'm in, cultivating awareness and mindfulness of my thoughts, and intentionally opting for joy rather than giving in to the ego thought system. I like to share that I'm a committed student and follow the teachings and tenets of A Course in Miracles, fondly known as the Course. This non-dualistic self-study spiritual teaching is a way, not the only way, for some people to find their own internal teacher. You may have heard me say that before. It's kind of like finding your GPS, your inner guidance. I share this because this is a teaching that supports my peaceful way of living, my peaceful way of being. And I love how beautifully the Course's teachings align with unity principles. One that came to me as it relates to this talk today is this principle. Take a listen. God is everywhere and always present in every circumstance. This divine energy underlies and animates all of existence. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that comforting? This energy, this inner peace, could be called joy. In fact, I like to call it joy. To me, joy is a sign of the presence of God within us. It's always present, even in the difficult times, even in the seeming chaos. Joy is a part of our true nature as spiritual beings. It's not something we need to seek externally, but rather something we can call forth from within. That principle, this sweet and comforting principle, encourages us to look within and recognize the joy that's always present, regardless of the external circumstances. Something that brings joy into my awareness is watching old movies and noticing how they relate to spiritual teachings. Many classic films contain spiritual language and messages of oneness and connection. Maybe you've noticed that. An example is the 1962 classic, The Miracle Worker. That's based on a true story of Helen Keller and her teacher, Annie Sullivan. Annie answered her calling to teach Helen, despite facing resistance at every turn. One scene that stands out for me, I like to call it the fight scene with folded napkin. In this exhausting 7-minute scene, Annie tries to teach Helen manners. By the end of that scene, Helen runs outside into her mother's arms, and Annie, utterly exhausted, follows her When Helen's mother asks what happened, Annie says, she ate with a spoon from her own plate, and she folded her napkin. The room's a wreck, but she folded her napkin. This scene reminded me of the teachings of A Course in Miracles. It's joy in the small victories, like folding the napkin, the folded napkin, that matters. In the midst of chaos, I find joy in these little moments of accomplishment. I find joy in the folded napkin. Another point in the movie where Annie is totally frustrated and feeling defeated, she quietly sits back and she asks for help. Her words seem to be directed towards Helen, but this ask felt deeper, beyond the help or cooperation from Helen, but from something greater, higher. This reminded me of the Course's assurance that when we ask for guidance from the Holy Spirit or that higher power, we are guaranteed an answer. I find joy in asking for guidance. Annie's relentless efforts to teach Helen, despite numerous challenges, highlight the importance of commitment and dedication. By Annie remembering her true calling as a teacher and by recognizing the inherent truth within Helen, Annie managed to rise above any ego-driven thoughts. She reveals the deep joy that comes from supporting others and being a demonstration of this in their lives, being that demonstration of joy. This commitment and dedication leads to Helen's breakthrough in communication, which to me symbolizes the joy of overcoming obstacles and achieving personal inner growth. Similarly, as I share and teach and listen to those that I interact with, I remember the inherent truth about myself. I've never separated from divine. I've never separated from source. I've never separated from God. I remember that about myself, and my practice is to remember that about everyone and anyone that I encounter. I find joy in noticing which thought system I'm aligned with. Now, you might be saying in this moment, wait a minute, Terri. You're using something in the external, that movie, to bring you joy. That doesn't align with the principle you shared. That doesn't even align with the Course's teaching. Even in the Course, it reminds me in chapter 23 to seek not outside yourself, for it will fail, and you will weep each time an idol falls. Well, I'm not using the movie to seek inner joy. I'm not making the movie the thing that brings me joy. I used the movie to support me in realizing that joy is already within me. So there's a little bit of a difference there. I used it as a reminder to support me. You know, we're in a time that is traditionally known as the Lenten season, and I wanted to make sure I shared something about that here, specifically because there was a service here on Ash Wednesday, the start of Lent, the 40 days between Ash Wednesday and Easter. And I want to honor that Unity recognizes Lent as a time to focus on spiritual renewal and inner transformation. I love this because the Course's teaching is very similar. It encourages individuals to use this period and really in our everyday living to deepen our connection with the divine, to release thoughts or beliefs that are not aligned with oneness, to release thoughts or beliefs that are not aligned with love, forgiveness, and joy, to focus on who we really are, focus on what we really are, light. I'd like to offer you 3 nuggets, 3 practices that I use to support me in remembering my light and my inner joy. The first is love and compassion. Extending love and compassion toward ourselves brings a deep fulfillment of joy. And then there's a ripple effect. It just spreads out. It emanates across every area in our lives. Connection with the divine. Building a connection with the higher power, source, the one, nurtures our soul and brings that remembrance of inner peace and lasting joy to us. Living in the present moment. Embracing the present moment, free from past burdens or future worries, allows us to experience joy, pure joy. So I encourage you to use this time during Lent and beyond to allow for the gentle healing in your mind by noticing what brings you joy. So, when I come here, I love an interactive thing. So here's the interactive part. Everybody wake up. I'm going to read it first, and then I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. So we're affirming something here. I'm going to read it through first. I nurture my soul through a connection with the divine. As I do, I welcome the experience of remembering inner joy. In this present moment, I free myself from past burdens and future worries. I embrace joy. Okay, so I know that's a lot. I'm going to walk you through it. You're going to repeat after me. So loud and proud, okay? I nurture my soul.
I nurture my soul
Through a connection with the divine.
through a connection with the divine.
As I do, I welcome the experience of remembering inner joy. I welcome the experience of remembering inner joy. In this present moment, I free myself from past burdens and future worries.
And
here we are, bring it home. I embrace joy. Thank you. In conclusion, it's not about using external things to bring you joy. Instead, these external reminders help me look within and find that folded napkin in my heart. The truth lies there. That's where joy is. That's where joy is for me. Thank you for your time.